So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Desiree, and I'm joined by Anne Marie. We both work with the Sawfish Conservation Society, and so we just wanted to do a quick introduction. So I'm Desiree. I am one of the Education Committee co-chairs, and I first joined Sawfish Conservation Society back in 2020. I mostly work on social media and outreach, and as my day job, I'm biologist. So I work in a marsh and I help landowners manage their properties for waterfowl. So I help them with water management and habitat management. And I'll turn it over to Anne Marie.
Well, hi, I'm Anne Marie. I'm still a grad student, but I just finished my PhD working in sawfish, specifically with large tooth sawfish. And now I'm a professor at Rollins College in Florida. And so, yeah, I've been involved with SCS for, I think like 7 years, 8 years now. And I love sawfish, so similar to you.
Wow, all of your professions are really interesting. I would really like to know more about them. They're so interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll go ahead and get started with some questions for you. We'd just like to get to know you at first. So if you could just tell us your name and how old you are.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Alosha Samaraarchchi. I am 14 years old, even though I don't look it. So I live in Sri Lanka, which is a very beautiful country. I love my country. But there's a little problem. I live smack in the middle of Sri Lanka, which is like really hard for what I do and what I study. But don't get me wrong, it's really beautiful here. It's really so since Sri Lanka is like surrounded by ocean, there's so much marine life to study, but we don't have enough resources to study it. But I love my country. It's a really beautiful country.
Well, my next question is actually like, where are you from? Which you've already said Sri Lanka. And what is the native languages there? And then how do you say sawfish in that? We love learning like how to say sawfish in
Oh yeah.
languages.
Yeah, okay. So the primary language that we use is Sinhala, and you say Sawfish Datimora in Sinhala, which just basically is Sawshark, like directly translated. And a couple of another language mainly used in the areas like Jaffna is Tamil. So yeah, the main one is Sinhala.
And how do you say sawfish again?
Datimora.
Datimura. Okay.
Datimora.
How
Did we say that right?
cool.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for teaching us that.
Datimura.
No
Um,
problem.
yeah, we do. We have some sawfish outreach materials in Tamil, but none in Sinhala. So maybe we need to
Yeah.
get a translator for those. Uh, so that's awesome. Thank you. Well, one of the profile pictures that you sent us, you're scuba diving. And so you're very young to be scuba diving. And I'm
Yeah.
just curious, when did you get scuba certified?
So I got my PADI license about 3 years ago. It was a really long time ago. And it was a really wonderful experience. I went diving in Galle. There are beautiful coral reefs there, and I went diving in Pigeon Island. So over there, you can see so many different species of sharks. You can see black tips, white tips. I saw a couple of sharks, and it's such a wonderful experience diving. It's so wonderful just to be submerged by water. I might be a little bit rambling here, just don't mind.
No, I totally get it. I love scuba diving. Being underwater, you're in a totally different universe. So, it's amazing. Definitely recommend it to anyone, who wants to try it.
And I guess what do you like most about being like around the ocean or about the ocean and then like being in the water, like when you are scuba diving?
Yeah. So when I'm under the water, it gives me such a sense of peace and tranquility, that you're just submerged by water and the sounds outside of the buses and the cars honking everywhere, just all blocked out, and the sounds, everything is blocked out, and you're just there with the sounds of the waves, uh, the sounds of the submerged waves, and it's just so peaceful. And you can see the coral reefs and the fish just floating around you, and it's just so wonderful. And the thing I love about the ocean is mainly the animals. But here in Sri Lanka, there are so many different environments, like sandy beaches and rock pools that you can explore and you can see and you can observe everything. It's just so wonderful. It gives me a sense of like belonging and like that I feel at home near the ocean. It's just such a wonderful feeling.
I totally understand that feeling. So do you have a favorite ocean animal? And if you do, why is that your favorite?
Yes, I have so many favorite ocean animals. There are just so many to choose from, but my favorite is just under a whole category, so I'm just gonna explain about that. Is sharks. So sharks, first of all, they are so majestic, and there are so many different types of varieties, and their biology is so incredible and fascinating. It's just it's just wow. And then secondly, they're really misunderstood, and people don't actually see what sharks are for who they are, and it just gives me a lot of you know a lot of motivation to get rid of that image from them. And also, sharks are really, really cool. And a specific type of sharks are basically deep sea sharks, like the velvet belly lantern shark and the frilled shark. Those sharks are so cool. I did a small research review on bioluminescent sharks. Um, that just proves how interested I am in sharks.
That's so impressive. You did like a research review? How did you even come across that? Like, did you were you seeing them somewhere or?
Yeah. Um, So around Sri Lanka, you can't really see them because they are in usually deep sea, and there aren't that many big fishing harbors around here. But the ones they are operated by local fishermen, so I don't have the chance to see a deep sea shark. But I came across them online in either LinkedIn or Twitter, I don't remember. But I just felt very fascinated by them and like how they worked, and I felt like I needed to do something. I want to you know, express my interest. So I decided to do a research review with the help of my father, of course. Without him, I don't know where I'd be.
That's so awesome. It sounds like you have a great support system that's helping you get where you want to go.
Yeah.
I was actually first introduced to you by your father. He sent me a YouTube video that you did. This was, I think, about 3 years ago, and it was on Sawfish for International Sawfish Day, which is coming up on October 17th. So I'm curious, when did you first learn about sawfish?
So, those were back in the quarantine days, right? So I was chronically online back then, just scrolling through these, um, expanding my interests. And so I came upon Sawfish one day, and then I was like to my dad, hey, uh, hey, so there's this animal, it's called a sawfish. It's really cool. And I was just talking on about how like it's like a really big creature. It's got this really long nose with like sharp, sharp teeth. And then and he was like, we should do a video about it. And I was like, yes, yeah, let's do something about it. And I was like really interested. And so we decided to make that video for International Sawfish Day. And yeah.
And like, what do you think of when you hear the word sawfish? Like, do you think of like something scary, or do you think of, I guess, something sad because sawfish aren't doing the best right now? Yeah, what do you think of?
Yeah. So there was a couple of stages for me hearing the word sawfish. So like in the beginning, like when I just first heard about it, I just pictured, a random saw and a fish. But like as I got to learn more about the actual creature, the image just kept developing in my mind, and now it's just burned into my memory as the one and only Sawfish, the majestic creature.
That's a good way to describe them. Majestic. I would say that.
Totally. I recently showed a picture of a sawfish to one of my coworkers, and she said, "Oh my goodness, that's terrifying." And I was like, "No,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?"
In
So,
my opinion, they're really cute.
me too.
I agree. A lot of people think or they look like aliens. Some people say they look like aliens. I think they're
Mhm.
adorable. So
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, most creatures look like aliens, so
that's a
It's
good
true.
point.
So, why do you think sawfish are special or important? Or, have you heard about sawfish like in Sri Lanka or around that area, why they might be important to that culture?
yeah. So the really sad thing about sawfish in Sri Lanka is that um as recorded, all three species that were in Sri Lanka have gone extinct, which is really sad. There was the narrow sawfish, large-toothed sawfish, and the green sawfish. So it's really sad. They have been overfished by the local fishermen in Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, there's BRT Blue Resources Trust. They did a research on sawfish, and they noticed that the older fishermen who have been here in the industry for a long time, they've heard of the sawfish. They've even caught a couple of sawfish back in their day. But the younger generation, they don't even know what a sawfish is, which is like really sad. And yeah, it's so sad and heartbreaking to know that these wonderful creatures have just gone completely extinct. And the only evidence that we have in the 20th century, like after the 2000s, is this one picture that was uploaded in 2017 by an unknown fisherman with a boy riding on about a 7 meter long sawfish's back. So that's the only proof we have after 2015, which is like really sad. And also, I think the most special feature about sawfish is obviously the rostrum, which is just, you might know already, but I'm just going to explain it. That is a modified part of their jaw, and the small scales, the teeth, sorry, are just modified scales, which is just so interesting and fascinating. And just it's what makes a sawfish a sawfish. And I think the reason that sawfish are important is because they are keystone species, like any predator is. So, like, think of it as about like an arch. So, and the sawfish is the center brick in the top part of the arch, like the one that's holding everything up. You remove that brick, like the sawfish, and everything goes tumbling down, which is what happens when you remove a keystone species from an area.
That's a good way. I've never heard that way of explaining that, but I like the arch explanation. That's a good way of doing that. And it is sad. I was just looking because yeah, large tooth aren't found there anymore. That they declare presence uncertain. But yeah, it's likely probably not found there anymore. And all sawfish now are critically endangered. So you kind of already said this, but like, how does that make you feel now that, yeah, these species are not found in Sri Lanka and all of them are critically endangered, especially someone like younger. Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel extremely sad and like heartbroken to know that I will never get to see these creatures in Sri Lanka, like in that I'll never get to see them because these fishermen, they just wanted these rostrums for profit, and they didn't care about what to preserve, because in a country like this, it's really unknown about conservation, etc., etc. And it just makes me feel really sad that because we'll never get to see a live sawfish other uh, in Sri Lanka, other than seeing a broken off rostrum in a museum like the Colombo Museum. It's it's just really devastating to think about, and I might not even get the chance to see a sawfish even if I go abroad somewhere, which is honestly so sad.
Yeah, we definitely agree. I've seen a sawfish only in an aquarium that I worked at. That's how I was first introduced to sawfish, but I've never seen one in the wild, that's for sure. And I know Anne Marie spent about 9 years studying sawfish, and she only just got to see one in the wild just like few months ago, so or a month ago. But yeah, so it is very rare to actually get to see one, and it does make us sad as well. So what do you think would happen if we lost sawfish forever?
So, like I said earlier, they're a keystone species, and so it'll just take a really long time for the ecosystem to adapt without the sawfish because they're a predator, and the predators keep things in balance. And if they're just gone, like imagine if you take another different keystone species, like for example, a sea otter out of a kelp forest ecosystem, the whole population is gonna go berserk, and um, and it's just going to do a number on the ecosystem. Like I think that even though it isn't studied, I think that was the case with Sri Lanka also, because um, if I think correctly, they are bottom dwellers in riverbeds, right? And so there's a lot of different types of fish that I believe that even though there aren't any records, the population has gone berserk, and it took a long time to recover with the extinction of sawfish in Sri Lanka. So also the fact that they are slow breeders makes it so much worse. And since they're really slow breeders, it's going to take a long time for the population to recover. So it would just do a huge number on the ecosystem.
That was very well put. Like on par with some of my like college students. Like that's yeah, you know a lot about that and that's very true. I feel like it takes a long time for the ecosystem to recover and they're still found in only like these really, really pristine habitats. They might be pristine because sawfish are still there. But yeah, if we lose them, it's going to be not good for anyone, not good for the ecosystems. Um, if you were like in charge of saving sawfish, which maybe someday you you might be, like if you go on to do science stuff, what would
Yeah.
your like first idea be? Or like how do you think you would tackle this? And I know it's a big question, so
Yeah.
what do you think
Um,
would be good?
so the main thing that I would do if like is to basically spread awareness and spread the word, which is the main thing that I'm trying to do already with different types of marine animals. That is the main thing I would try to do. And the main focus would be the people who actually, fish for, like if you take Sri Lanka, for example, the people who actually fish for these. And another group I would target is the children, of course, because they are the next generation. They are the ones who are going to be taking care of the world. So I personally would host a lot of awareness programs, workshops but like make it, fun and engaging for, children because they're children. And the fishermen, like if you take Sri Lanka, for example, this is just an example. You have to educate them slowly. And another thing is to advise people if they like see um, like any sawfish product or something because they are fished in like rural countries, um, to like go away from the product. If you separate the consumer from the producer, it stops the producer from actually producing that at all. And so that would be a big part of what I do if I were in charge of, saving the sawfish. And I would also try to do a petition to get legal help to protect sawfish. I don't know if they are already protected or not. I'm not really sure about that, but I would make a petition to to advocate and to get the government's help because they are the leaders of the nation. And to get the government help, to get the government help and actually put more rules in for sawfish and actually make them a protected species. I don't know if that's done or not, but yeah, that's what I would do.
That sounds like a great plan. I think also targeting fishers is good, and then kids. I think that's an excellent way because I think too kids can help convince their families that don't cut the saw off the sawfish if you know that their son or their daughter really likes sawfish. Maybe they won't do that.
And it sounds like you're already starting on that mission by doing this type of outreach. You've already started making videos and you're educating yourself. I mean, talking to you, I'm like, wow, you're really educated about these topics. So I think it's wonderful and you're doing a great job. Um, and so I'm just curious what you think some things that kids or teens can do to help protect sawfish and the ocean.
So, something I would say is that any small action matters. And even if you can't, donate to conservations or, volunteer, even spreading the word is more than enough. You just have to get enough attention to the problem. So I think of it as this way. First, learn, act, and then tell. So that's what I live by. You have to learn about something that you're really passionate about, that's something that you want to protect, and then you act upon it. You volunteer for programs. If you want, you can host a program. You can do something. And then you have to talk about it. You have to talk about these efforts and why these efforts are important. And any small action matters. Even if you like spread to your friends or family, it's it's still going to matter. No matter how small that action is, it's still a big feat. It's still a long step.
Yeah, it does sound like you are already very involved and like kind of inspiring maybe to other kids in your area that want to get involved. We did see you have the SL Shark Kids. Is that something like that you can share, like what that is and how you think that's helpful?
Yeah. Okay, so SL Shark Kids is a small group that's run by me and my father because like I can't do anything without my father. And so so our main so we have about 22 members, and all of those members are small kids under the age of 11 because they're the ones who like need to know more and they're the ones who have influence over their parents. And so occasion we are not that online that much because yeah. And we occasionally host awareness programs and meetings. So my goal in SL Sharp Kids is to reduce the views that are painted upon sharks and different types of misunderstood creatures. So because like if you talk to a random person and ask them, hey, what do you think about a shark or some other creature that's misunderstood, they're going to go, oh no, no, sharks are so scary, they're man killers. So what I'm trying to do is like, and the people who are most like scared of sharks are small kids, right? Because like they're scared if they like go into the water somewhere, a shark's going to eat them up. And yeah, in Sri Lanka, that is very much the case because all these false myths and beliefs are spread so, in this country, and so I try to educate these these kids, and I have a couple of programs going on educating preschool children about this.
That's really cool. So you're already doing outreach with kids then. Wow. Do you during your these outreach, do you ever talk to them about sawfish or is it more just like sharks in general?
Um, I'm sad to say, not really, but like occasionally I bring up these endangered species, and you have to really simplify it when you're talking to them because they're really small. They don't understand that much. Not saying anything. Um, but yeah, I try to clear up these assumptions and these false myths and try to get rid of this fear about these creatures. And I'll make sure to bring up sawfish in my future programs.
That's awesome. Well, you kind of answered the question we were going to ask next already about what message would you like to share with kids and teens. So it sounds like you're trying to help just get rid of that assumption that they are dangerous animals. Do you have anything else that you would share with them about sawfish in general?
So there's a lot I would like to share, but if you're like if I'm explaining about a sawfish to my friend, so it's a really delicate topic because, like I said earlier, these creatures like this are often misunderstood. And when you say a sawfish, you're just gonna think, oh my God, such a scary creature. It has a saw. Oh, what's it gonna do? It could probably kill me or something, you know? But but you have to explain in like a really delicate way. And I'd paint a picture of an awesome creature, which it already is, and such like like it's a really huge creature. It can like come in all different types of sizes. There's about 5 species, and it's really really cool. So it's got this really long, um, you know, jaw extension, and it's got these teeth, but like on this extension. But like, don't worry, they only use this for hunting prey, and they don't see humans as prey because they're too big to eat. And another cool thing about sawfish is that, like most Lisbon brands, they have electroreceptors on their rostrum, which is really cool. Like, imagine being able to sense your prey with electricity. It's really cool, right? So you have to paint a picture of how awesome they are, and then you talk about. I would talk about like, how sad it is that they are all going extinct, and how we should do more to protect them. So I might have drifted off a little bit, but yeah.
No, that's a great way to say that and to explain how cool they are and then explain there's not a lot left. Um, so I think that's like a good way to end it because then you get people excited about them and then they kind of get sad because there's not a lot of sawfish left. But then it hopefully makes them care to do something about it. So I think that's a great way to explain it. I guess, Desiree, if you don't mind, I might go ahead and ask like what you want to do because I feel like you're already setting yourself up to kind of go into research or you could go into work for a marine nonprofit. Like, what do you want to do?
I want to do a lot of things actually. I really want to join a lot of different conservations and help out as much as I can. And yeah, I would someday I would even like to start my own nonprofit,
Okay.
which is a big goal of mine. And yeah, I really want to be involved in conservation work and make as much as a difference as I can. And I'm already working to
Mhm.
study. I'm already studying to work as a marine biologist, obviously. But the fact is, here in Sri Lanka, you don't have that many, you know, marine biology courses like in
Mhm.
different countries, which is kind of sad. You have to just wait till university until you can try to study them. So that's why in this time, until I go to university, I'm trying to do as much work as I can and try to do some researches along the way.
Yeah, I'd say you're on a great path. You're already doing a lot more than I would say a lot of people, especially more than I was doing it at your age for sure. So, yeah, I think you could go on to be like I don't know if you want to go to grad school. I don't know if you're interested in getting like a PhD or a master's. Have you ever thought about going and doing that?
Yeah, I'm really interested in getting all sorts of degrees. Um, yeah, I really want to get a PhD someday.
I feel like you definitely could do that. I'm telling you
Yeah,
that right
for
now. You
sure.
absolutely could. Yeah.
Alosha, so we just have like maybe one or two more questions for you. But just leading up to that, what you were talking about getting a PhD, we just want to make sure that you're aware that there is a conference next year coming up, Sharks International. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
you've heard about it, but it is a huge shark and ray conservation, and there are going to be scientists from all around the world, and they're all going to be in Colombo, Sri Lanka. So, um,
yeah,
we are hopeful that the Sawfish Conservation Society will be there also. And so we hope that you'll be able to, be involved with that in some way. It will be a great networking opportunity for you if you're able to attend.
yeah. I'm actually planning on attending, and if I
Good.
have the chance, I'm planning on presenting if I
Oh,
can, if I get the
Oh,
wow.
chance.
Oh
how
my goodness. That's
Yeah.
cool.
awesome.
I was just about to say you should totally present. Like if you submit for a talk, you totally should.
I'm really, really excited to, even if I won't get the chance to present, at least participate and see all these
Yeah.
other amazing scientists present all their work.
Yeah. No, I think that would be great because you're there, you're seeing all the shark and ray stuff and like at the actual in Sri Lanka. So I think you have so much knowledge that people could learn from.
And
Um,
we hope if you go that we get to meet you in person.
yeah.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so keep us posted.
Well, I guess our final question, I always like to end interviews. What advice would you give to other young people like looking to get involved in marine conservation?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, like learn as much as you can. Learn to your full capacity if you're really interested, really invested, and then try to act upon it. Try to volunteer, do awareness, even though you can't, even though you like if you can like do something, no matter how small your actions are, it will still contribute to what what you're doing. And and then finally you have to talk about it. You have to spread the awareness. I think I've repeated this twice, but you have to spread the awareness. You have to talk about it to show that you're really interested, that you want to help in any way possible. So put the if you have the passion, you can do what you want to achieve. That is what I'd like to say. And try to help as much as you can.
I like that. I think that's very accurate. Like if you have the passion for it, then you can do it. And also getting it like just getting involved anyway, I think is good. I think it puts you in positions to then like you're doing this now, you're getting interviewed and you might go to Sharks International. Like I think it just helps you meet people, which I think is really good. Well, great.
Yes, and like you said, every little bit helps. And
Hmm.
so it's no, nothing is too small to make a difference.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Alosha. It was really great to meet you. Just
Yeah.
wonderful to talk with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here.
Yeah, you're doing great work over there. Like that's what you're doing is awesome. So keep doing it. And hopefully we can meet you at Sharks International. Or we'll
Yeah.
see you one day if you're, you know, get your
Yeah.
PhD and start presenting at conferences, your own research. I can see that as well.
Yes.
Well, as you know, International Sawfish Day is coming up October 17th. So we
Yes.
will be posting this call on our social media. So I hope that is great with you. I know
Yeah, that's
everybody's
completely fine.
awesome. Everyone is going to be so excited to just hear what you have to say. So thank you so much for participating with us.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Good luck with everything.
Yeah. Thank you.